From the Carson Student Athlete Center in the Schaefer Sports Hall of Fame, it's a reunion tour, a welcome back, if you will, of Sun Devil Extra. Braden Bell joined alongside ASU AD Graham Rossini. Happy New Year to you and yours at home. Happy New Year to you, Graham Rossini, as
Thank
well.
you.
How was the month holiday layoff for the show? Not for you as a job, I guess.
No, I think we're busy, exciting times here at ASU. A lot of things underway, a lot of sports underway, a lot of good moments happening, and so can't believe it's 2026.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Hard to believe. So much to cover on the show today. We'll be joined by both of the Bourguet brothers. Trenton and Coben will be joining us on the show to talk Sun Devil football, of course. And we'll stay with that topic to start. So many things have happened over the past month since we last talked to you. Of course, I'm sure all of you are familiar with many of the things that have been happening, but you haven't heard it straight from this man's mouth. So we're going to talk about ASU football to start it off. Of course, the end of the football season, now into the transfer portal window and all of the news that comes with that. But I guess we'll just start with the end of this season, the Sun Bowl festivities, a great game, ultimately falling a bit short to Duke. But, just kind of looking back at the entire football season now that it's over with, just your overall impressions of it.
Yeah, I think there were head-scratching moments along the way, but at the end of the day, really appreciate the job that this coaching staff did, despite a lot of just funky moments that happened. Injuries, we had a weird weather situation. We had some, getting used to the Big 12 and travel as well. And so just unique moments that maybe we didn't anticipate for. And the fact that we were in a position the final week of the regular season to play, get in the conference championship, get back to the CFP, tells you a lot about the resiliency of this team, of this program, of the players, of the coaching staff. And so I would argue it was a better coaching job out of Kenny and the coaches than last year. Kind of given the environment that they were up against, given the situation of there weren't many games that the main team was on the field at the same time based on injuries and different situations. So I think a lot of successful moments that happened. The fact that we sold out every home game, the fact that this fan base is so energized once again and growing, importantly growing, a lot of positive takeaways as you wrap up the year, including the Sun Bowl. And, shout out to the Sun Bowl for an incredible experience in El Paso. We're lucky. There's a guy that works for the Sun Bowl, John Fulmer, played for Coach Cush here at ASU, has been a very watchful eye over the Sun Devils in the times that we've been in the game. Bernie Olivas does a great job running the bowl game. And so think about the fact that our second and third string guys went up against the ACC champs and took them to the wire in a nail biter and a heartbreaker at the end. But thinking about Jason Brown and Man and the performances that you saw at young guys that had just been waiting for their moment to really break out and maybe had bits and pieces during the season, but had that showcase in a bowl environment, got a taste of postseason football, got a chance to really energize his fan base of just the depth and the quality of talent on the roster. Despite the loss, and it's kind of, we bookended the year with silver linings maybe. Next year we'll convert those into wins, but a lot of positive takeaways to answer the question, and that's led to a lot of early momentum in the offseason.
Certainly has, and one of the big storylines that you actually did talk about in front of the media in the time off between shows was Coach Dillingham and getting him secured here in Tempe for the time being. The good news that obviously brought a lot of smiles to the face of Sun Devil Nations as well. And so I guess, just kind of continuing off of that and that press conference you had, talking about that, but the forward momentum, the buy-in of this university all the way to the top with President Crow, it seems like it's a really good time again to be here.
Yeah, I mean, it's a different process than maybe kind of what the public sentiment was. But I say this all the time, leadership matters. And the most important decision that we make in our department is selecting our head coaches. We're about winning. We're about winning championships. That's a fundamental part of what we're trying to do here at ASU. Our North Star within Sun Devil Athletics is being a talent development organization. We have 600 athletes across all of our sports. They're picking us. We have this incredible responsibility to lead them, to develop them, to put them out in the world as productive adults and human beings. The world needs that now more than ever. The best way to be focused on talent development is to put great leadership in front of your athletes every single day. And so hiring great coaches, retaining great coaches when you have them is an absolute fundamental priority of ours. And so there was no way we were letting Kenny get away. And I think as it played out, he didn't have intentions of getting away anyway. We just wanted to continue to refine some of the resources that we're able to put back in the program. And Never about him. That was never the conversation about how does Kenny Dillingham benefit from another extension. It was about what are the tools we can continue to design around Sun Devil football in a way that allow him to do his job at the highest possible level. Lead, coach, develop, mentor, create accountability, create structure, create enthusiasm and momentum in a way that he so uniquely can. And so, really happy that we were able to work on another extension, get that done, share that news when we could, and we will never look back. And so he's a generational figure in this university setting, in this athletic department, and we're going to go to bat every day to make sure he has the tools to do his job at the highest possible level.
It was huge to get him wrapped up, and now obviously you move into the transfer portal season, and getting on Coach Bourguet, which still sounds kind of weird to say, by the way, in a couple of segments. We'll get to kind of hear the inside scoop on the coaching staff's view of the transfer portal window. But as an athletic director, of course, it is the new age of college athletics, where this is a really important time, not only for football, but for every sport when the portal opens in the respected sports. But in the case of football, fans are so curious about it. How does it really look from the inside of an athletic department?
I mean, it's a complete circus. There's no way around that reality of the calendar. It creates a lot of the chaos that we're in right now. And so the early high school signing period in December, we had a lot of success with some of those commitments. It was great that a guy like Jake Fetty was able to be with us in El Paso and work out. But then your high school early signing period, your bowl prep, you're playing in a bowl game, you're retaining coaching members, and then all of a sudden the football transfer portal window starts in January. And it is as well-documented chaos out there as it is in real life. And that's just the sign of the times. It's the reality that we're in. We can't shy away from that. We've got to fully embrace that's the environment that we're in. And the reality for us is that we've built momentum in our program because of Coach Dillingham, because of the fan base, because of the excitement that surrounds what we do. A lot of kids are noticing that, and a lot of kids want to be here. And we've seen that in the early goings with the signings and the commitments that have been made of there's really high-end talent choosing to come to ASU. And we've said this for a couple of years now, but the portal gives as much as it takes. And there might be players that determine this isn't the fit or the environment for whatever reason. That's okay. That's the right that they have in college sports in 2026. At the same time, there are kids that will now have the opportunity to come into the ASU environment, focus on that talent development, focus on building relationships throughout this network, and play for world-class coaches. And so, man, what momentum the first week into the portal with some of the additions to the football team. Even, put volleyball in that same conversation. Volleyball has been very active in the transfer portal as well here in the winter break. And so it's a new reality. And again, when you're designing your coaching staffs, there are roles that need to be in place now that didn't exist 2 years ago, because you are coaching and leading as a coaching staff. You're still recruiting high school players, but now the transfer portal and the timing of it, until that gets maybe right-sized or regulated, this is just the reality that we're going to be in. December and January are going to be chaotic in college sports. You've got to anticipate for that. You've got to plan accordingly, and when it comes, you've got to be prepared to jump and make sure that you're building your roster in the way that you need to.
One of those new staff member positions, of course, a GM with Sun Devil football, which is an important role that is becoming more and more popular. I'm curious, you talk about the chaotic schedule, the calendar, and you see the Twitter fingers, if you will, all the time saying, well, why don't they just change it? Why don't they just change it? I guess it's a simple question, but what is kind of the inside scoop on that?
Yeah, we need to look at the calendar. There's no doubt about that. And at some point, we're starting to realize that the simple answers might be the way to go. And we've made this so hairy and complicated in ways that maybe are unnecessary. It all starts with the signing windows. The signing windows influence the coaching carousel. The coaching carousel affects how you build your roster, how you plan your spring, and all these things are part of the trickle-down effort. And the good news is it's gotten so chaotic in this particular cycle that there's a lot of conversation going on. The NCAA Football Oversight Committee is a group that's involved in a lot of decision-making on behalf of the sport, and looking at what are we doing to our programs, what are we doing to our coaches. We're gonna be driving people out of college football if we don't get this right. We're going to be continuing to complicate what it means to be a fan following the news. There's a unified belief that we've got to get this thing in a stronger position where you can coach, or you can focus on coaching, you can focus on leading, and we're not having our coaches be all things to all people because of the calendar and the chaos that has ensued. So NCAA convention is next week. That's an important week, not only for football, for all of our sports in terms of decision making. The single transfer portal window was the right move. The timing of it is a conversation that's going on. There's increased momentum on maybe a spring portal window and looking at that as a way to get your roster set going into the summertime, so you're not affecting academic calendars, which are a big part of the dynamic that we're in right now, because there's a lot of kids that are enrolling at ASU to start school next week when we get back. And so that kind of accelerates the portal momentum, et cetera. So a lot of varying factors. And that's why you see coaches making decisions on staying or going, because the portal is about to open, or high school recruiting is happening when it is. If you move high school recruiting back to February, if you look at the transfer portal window to the spring, if you look at the timing of week 0 and when the college football playoff is, all these things connect into the chaos that we're living in. And so peeling it back a little bit and starting from what does the ideal calendar look like, and start to make the decisions. The good news is a lot of that stuff is up for debate right now. There's active conversations on whether or not the college football playoff will expand. That has to happen here in the month of January. That will influence which bowl games are part of the playoff, the timing of the bowl games, the timing of the season, what happens to week 0. Does week 0 become the new week 1? That can influence what you do in high school recruiting. That can right size what you do in the transfer portal window. And now maybe you have some semblance of structure and guidance in a way that makes this a little bit more solvable moving forward. But I think everybody would agree what we're doing right now is not the long-term play. We got to get through it real time, and we got to make better, responsible national decision-making in the things that we're up against.
I hope you guys are taking notes at home. Seriously, there's a lot of moving parts. Clearly is the answer there, and
Yep.
It sounds like hopefully some solutions will be found in the upcoming future.
I think they're coming.
Good. We move on now to women's basketball, away from
Great
football.
segue.
Thank you. It's just good. Sometimes you don't need to dress it up like
Just
I
get
usually
there.
do. Just move on.
Just get there.
Women's basketball, they have been good. There's your segue.
Yeah.
They have been outstanding, actually, since we last chatted. Finally lost their first game on the road at BYU, and really what was a back-and-forth game for the majority of that one. But they are back at home this week, and then off to a nationally ranked, top 15 ranked TCU Horned Frog squad this Sunday. The momentum just continues to rise and rise. The fan base is starting to really get involved with this program as well, and the style of basketball. I know you tweeted about this yesterday. It's a really fun basketball team to watch. Even if they're on the road, it's just fun to watch them.
We've got to get some B-roll. We've got a case here in the Carson Center, the Schaefer Hall of Fame and Museum here, the Hail Marley T-shirt, alive and well. Take a bow for that one. That's quality output of the show right here. So
that was a good segue.
Women's basketball has been a lot of fun. And we talked about Coach Dillingham as a generational figure. I think the same for Coach Molly Miller and what she's done out the gate. 15-1. Sitting here 1st of January, I don't think we could have conceived that in any of our wildest expectations for what she was going to do right out the gate. And you've seen that translate, the fan support in Desert Financial Arena. The energy in the arena is different. The momentum around the program. Fox 10 is a great partner of ours. They've got a great coaches show for Coach Miller that's going to be on tonight, which is, I don't know what day it is, Wednesday. We're watching this on a Thursday,
as we record
so this was
Wednesday.
on.
Yeah.
Find it on your local stations. It's probably archived somewhere. But man, what a start! What an exciting product that we're seeing. And think about, she built this roster in about a month. Got the job at the end of the season, got her coaching staff assembled, and then really in April and May put together a roster of these young women that are together. They're competing. They're complementary. They're fun to watch. They're changing the narrative on what Sun Devil basketball can be. You know, being one of the final, I think, 7 undefeated programs in the country up to last week is pretty remarkable. Sitting here at 15 wins in January with a strong pathway in front of us in the Big 12, it feels great. It feels great that we've got great leadership in place. She's got an incredible coaching staff around her. We've got a fan base that's being energized. We have a group of young women that are prepared to compete. They're challenged responsibly every single day, and they're meeting that moment in a way that's been pretty fun to watch. So excited for them to get deeper in the Big 12 schedule, and let's see what they can do.
Excited is probably the perfect word that I think this whole fan base is feeling, right? Not only for the rest of this year, but moving forward as well with Coach Miller at the helm. It's a program that is only on the rise. And when you start 15-0, now 15-1, people around the country are starting to take notice too. And that's a pretty cool thing as well for this program.
It is. And I travel a lot in the job, and it's funny. Everywhere I go, people want to talk about, hey, I see what Molly's doing. What a start. How exciting is this program? And, man, we wanted to get her in our program, and we couldn't do it. So congrats on getting her to ASU. And so it's been fun that the nation's kind of taken stock of what's going on here. A lot of the national media is plugged into what we're doing within our women's basketball program. And that helps recruiting. That helps the brand. That helps the national perception of everything we're doing here at ASU. And so really proud of what they're doing out the gate. Can't wait to see what's next.
What's next for women's basketball? As we said, they'll be on the road against TCU.
That's good.
I had to step back.
He's a pro.
I'm sorry.
Not holiday rusty at all.
Well, I was on my first one, and then you fired me up a little bit.
Okay.
Men's basketball, speaking about being fired up, there we go again. They're back at home this weekend against K-State. It'll be a matinee tip-off, Saturday, 1 p.m. tip against K-State on Peacock. So you watch that on Peacock if you're not available to be here. But a chance for Big 12 play to get going, obviously for the women's program, as we said. Men's program as well. They've been battling some injuries as of late, trying to get healthy, playing BYU as we're recording this on Wednesday night, so we won't talk about that game, but looking forward to the home game and trying to get things going in Big 12 play.
Yeah, again, another really fun roster that's played great in the early going, a little bit of skid the past few games, but have been in those games as well. And so trying to get a few guys back off the injured list and able to contribute again. But we know the Big 12 is going to be a test every single game. It doesn't matter who you're playing, just plan on if it's a Big 12 game, it's going to be a dogfight for the entire game. And so nice that we've got some home games coming up. Nice that we've got, a difficult stretch of the schedule in some ways of just get through those games. Let's go steal a couple wins against these top 10 programs that we're up against, and then know that we've got a lot of home games. We've got maybe more of a balanced back end of the schedule, which should serve us well kind of going into the back half of the Big 12. But you're seeing those emerging leaders, guys like Mo Odom, that are really kind of putting this team on his back. Had his kind of coming out moments at the Maui Invitational and some of the non-conference games, and then even the game against Colorado last weekend, just putting the team on his back, driving high 20s in points, being that vocal leader on the court, and keeping these guys in these tight games. And so we know it's going to be a dogfight every single game, but it's been fun to see these guys compete. Same thing as the women's, a group of guys that came together, almost an entirely new team, but they're accountable, they're connected, they're wishing each other well, they're proud to represent ASU, and so those are the kind of teams that you cheer for. They're competing for the right reason, they're proud to represent this university, they're bought into their coaching staff, and let's go see what they can do.
Yeah, it's the best conference in the country, Big 12 men's basketball.
No doubt.
Speaking of maybe the best conference in the country, the NCHC. We move on to Sun Devil hockey now, and what a weekend it was over at Mullet Arena over last weekend, I should say. It was the Desert Hockey Classic. Alaska Anchorage and Air Force both played the Sun Devils. ASU rolled over both of them to win another trophy in their home building, and this is a team that, even despite some rotten injury news that broke out over the past couple of days, they're really starting to play their best hockey. They'll be at home again against Miami of Ohio over the weekend. It seems like they've got a lot of momentum. Yeah,
a lot of momentum, and it was fun to get them back home. It'd been several weeks since we've had home hockey over at Mullet Arena, so really appreciate the fan turnout for the Desert Hockey Classic. Always fun when you're passing out trophies. We got to do that after the win against Air Force over the weekend, and Coach Powers mentioned something on the ice that I don't think I was aware of, but we've won the last 5 in-season tournaments that we've been a part of.
Wow.
And so, the Desert Hockey Classic back-to-back years, but some great success in Las Vegas and some other neutral sites that we've been a part of. And so it's just cool for the team to have those moments of anytime you can raise a trophy, whether it's in season or postseason, that you're building momentum, that you're doing something special. And so they're starting to come together again. We talked early in the fall about a lot of newcomers, a lot of freshman newcomers, a lot of guys learning how to play and I would agree what you said, the best hockey conference in America. They've started to cut their teeth a little bit. They've started to kind of understand what this environment's like. And now you've had holiday time to kind of get healthy, get fresh, a couple weekends of non-conference to kind of get back tuned in. And then, Miami's coming out here this weekend ready to go. Same thing. We know this conference is going to be a dogfight every single weekend. It's nice that the schedule sets up with more home games on the horizon. It's nice that we know what to anticipate when we go on the road because we're, second year into this conference now. But I do think they're starting to play their best hockey. And roles have been established. Guys know each other's tendencies. The high-end talent, guys like Cullen Potter are doing what first-round talent does. And we're excited to keep that going. So fun weekend, another fun weekend coming up at Mullet Arena with Miami in town, and we'll keep this thing going.
Yeah, Cullen has been playing great. It's as electric, I guess is the word I'm looking for. Electric of a trio as you'll find in college hockey offensively for the Sun Devils in that first line as of late. They've won 4 of 5, so it goes to show they are playing some of their best hockey. We're going to step aside from Graham real quick. We'll get him back for the last segment of the show, but we mentioned the Bourguet brothers will be in today, and we'll start with Trenton Bourguet. Coach Trenton Bourguet will be joining us on the program. Coming up next, talk about Sun Devil football. Back here on Sun Devil Extra, Braden Bell joined alongside a Sun Devil legend, truly. He's a friend of the program. He's on the football program from 2020 to 2024, now a part of the coaching staff. Trenton Bourguet joins us again on the program. Trenton, how are you, man?
I'm doing good. Staying busy.
I bet you are, and that's where we'll start this conversation. Obviously, the transfer portal season is here. I know fans of the football program are updating social media like every 5 minutes.
Yes.
I can only imagine how it is for you. So take us through this time of year.
It's busy. Obviously we've got people that are, either graduating or entering the portal, leaving, Sun Devil football. But, there's also, we're bringing in some big time players, and it's just been a joy to see, some guys, come in and, excited for their future, and it's been awesome.
I'm imagining every member of the staff has to do a lot during this time period. But for your role specifically, rather new to the staff, obviously this being your first year, take us through like a daily work through right now at this time of year.
Yeah, I mean, they're long days, but, obviously this is what comes, being in this profession. I'm just, learning as I go. So it's, driving around, picking up players, driving them around town and taking them to meals and meeting with guys and just watching a lot of film. And really, I'm just trying to do whatever I can. So if I'm, putting together, goodie boxes or opening doors, I'm doing whatever I can to help Sun Devil football. And it's been a lot of fun.
And everything matters, especially when you're trying to recruit. I'm curious, attacking the portal, obviously some great names have already committed and hoping for some more as time goes on and assuming that'll end up happening. I guess attribute-wise, as people, we always hear Coach Dillingham talking about the attributes that you guys are looking for. But in terms of this portal class, what are some of the things that you guys are really trying to target?
Yeah, I think, obviously that's up to Coach Dillingham and the staff. And, we're trying to bring in good people that are, not only going to be great football players, but, great people on and off the field. And I think that's the biggest thing that Coach Dillingham's done a great job here is building the culture. And, if you fit that culture, it's great. If you're not, probably not the best fit. But at the end of the day, we're going to try to bring in people that help us as a team and help this place win. And I think that's what we're doing.
You mentioned the culture, and obviously that's something you've been a part of as a player and now as a coach.
Yeah.
Talking to some of these young players, whether they're high school recruits or in the portal, of course, people just entering the program for the first time, it's got to be unique to be able to bring up, well, yeah, I lived through this as a player literally 2 years ago, and now as a coach. Have you noticed that being a pretty awesome dynamic?
Yeah, I think it's, obviously super rare, in this profession to have somebody that's, coaching at the school he played for and to have a player that stayed, his whole career. It's very rare to see somebody stay 6 years at the same university. And so it's definitely, that's something that I bring, not only to Coach Dillingham, but to the staff. And, bringing in players, I can not only attest to it as a coach, but as a player as well. And to see what Coach Dillingham's done here in such a short time, it's been a blessing. And I just can't wait to see where the future holds.
This does go out in public, so I'm not going to make you give your recruiting pitch because we want to keep that quiet. We don't want other programs to hear about it. But like you said, 6 years at this school, you're a lifer through and through.
Yes.
I guess what are some of those things that you kind of pitch to these guys that are coming in, that what separates ASU from other programs?
I mean, the biggest thing I think is the weather. Obviously it's a little cloudy today, but, to us, it's 65, 70 degrees out. It's a little cloudy, and to us, that's freezing. And to other people, they're like, wow, it's kind of hot out here. And I'm like, for you guys it is, but being in Arizona, and it's just, you see how special this place is and all the resources you have, not only, on the football side, but in school, academics. You just see the culture that we've built, not only on the football side, but Mr. Rossini from the top down, Mr. Crow and everything. So just to see the atmosphere that we, every home game last year was a sellout, and people are like, wow, like every single game. So it's just been super cool to not only see football, rise, and you see women's basketball, is having a great season, and men's basketball is doing their thing. And just everywhere you look, you're seeing, Sun Devil Athletics, representing on a national stage. And, for football, it's definitely, been a big leap that we've done. But I just can't wait to see what we do in the few years.
This guy's killing it. He's got 2 phones walking over here, giving some time for us over the very busy time. I'm curious, stepping aside from what you're doing right now specifically, but just moving away from wearing the helmet to wearing a coaching headset. Obviously, you're a full year through it now, being with the coaching staff. I guess take us through what that adjustment was like, because I think every student athlete always kind of wonders, when I'm done playing, what's next? You got to at least stay not only in the same place, but with the same program. How was the adjustment?
It's been a blessing. I truly tell people I am living the dream. Obviously I love playing, but coaching to me is just, it's something I'm learning a lot, just not only just from coaching X's and O's, but understanding recruiting, understanding the business and stuff like that. And it's just been a fresh rejoicing just to be able to stay at the same place. And, I'm comfortable here, but I'm also, put in situations that I've never done before, making cut-ups, breaking down film in certain areas. So it's just awesome to have a staff that's helping me out in so many ways. And I can always ask questions, and, to be surrounded with such great coaches like Coach Aguano and Coach Coach Rory and Coach Dillingham. I mean, all the whole defensive side of the ball. I'm asking them questions to see their perspective on things, and it truly is a family atmosphere. You know, a lot of people talk about it, but few really mean it. And to have so many coaches from Arizona, such as I am, it's a true special place.
You know, I have to imagine as well, yes, you're in the same building, but your roles could not be any further apart.
Yeah.
What have been some of those biggest adjustments, especially, take us back to when you first started on the coaching staff?
Yeah.
What were some of those big things?
Yeah, I would say the biggest thing is, I'm sitting in the room with, Coach Iguano. He's teaching the running backs, and even though I played quarterback for 6 years, I'm learning new things about the run scheme just from a running back's perspective. And I think that's the biggest thing is I'm just grateful to be in a room with Coach Iguano and learning, different thing about pass protection and run scheme and in the pass game. And I try to use my knowledge as a quarterback to help the running backs out. On certain plays, you have more time. You can get your depth. You're the fourth option on this play, but on this play, you better hurry up because you're my first read as a quarterback. And I just try to use my insight to help them in different ways. And as much as they're learning from me, I'm learning even more from them.
You mentioned being in the running backs room and being with Coach Iguano, obviously a very successful position for this program over the past really 10 years or so, and obviously a very beloved coach in Sean Iguano, who was the interim coach at a time when you were quarterbacking this team. So what's it like working with someone like that? It seems like just infectious, positive energy he brings to the table. Is that the case behind closed doors too?
100%. Obviously being from Tucson and watching him, have such a great career at Chandler. He's a legend. He still is a legend. But just growing up, and I'm always watching Chandler high school football, playing, those big time games, against Bishop Gorman and the Northwestern and the Florida, the Geico Championship type stuff. So to see that, and I tell these recruits and our running backs, I'm like, you guys don't understand. Like Coach Iguano to me is like watching an NFL coach for some of you guys. So. But it just as great as a coach he is, he's even a better person, and he truly cares about you. He's asking about family. He's asking about how you're doing outside of work, and I'm just so fortunate to be working with him.
I said this when we started the interview. This guy really is a legend. You kind of rolled your eyes, but it's true. Sun Devil Nation loves you, and I'm sure they're wondering watching this what your next goals are, right? Trying to expand your role potentially here or wherever it may be. What are those next steps for you?
My plan, I feel very grateful to be in the position I am. I'd love to be a Sun Devil, for life. And I'm just, trying to do whatever I can to help this, place, continue to grow. And like I did it in my playing days, do whatever the best team needs me to do. I'm trying to do the same thing with the staff. So love to be here at Arizona State. And you just never know. But I'm loving what I'm doing here.
Well, and the fans love you as well. I don't know if you know this, but it's a Bourguet double step today. Coben's going to be joining us in the next segment. So any questions I should ask him since he's going to be in the hot seat? This will be his debut on the show. It's your third time.
I would just ask him to see if he's hit a hole-in-one yet, and then if not, he'll give you the answer.
Because you have?
Yeah.
Where was it?
That was down in Tucson at our home course.
Wow.
Yeah.
How long was the par 3?
It was a par 3, about 100. It's crazy. It was 116 yards. So the 16 at the end. It was had my grandfather there, my dad, and my youngest brother. So it was a true special day. Picked it up, and I just couldn't believe it.
116. You can't make this stuff up.
Right.
Unbelievable stuff. Trenton Bourguet joining us on the program. He is a Sun Devil lifer. He's hitting the portal hard, as is this entire Sun Devil football staff. Thanks for joining us, and good luck the rest of the way through.
Thanks for having me. Forks up.
Be back with his brother, Coben Bourguet, will join us on Sun Devil Extra. Back here on Sun Devil Extra, continuing on with the Bourguet family reunion, or whatever you want to call it. Coben Bourguet joining us in the chair now, a redshirt senior on the Arizona State football team, just wrapped up his final year of college football. Coben, how are you, man? Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Good, man. Hey, so I got to start. You might not like this first question, but I asked Trenton at the end of his interview if he had any questions I asked it, any questions I should pass on to you. He said, ask him about a hole-in-one and if he's ever hit one.
It's funny he says that. The one time that I didn't golf with Trenton, he hit a hole-in-one about like a month ago, maybe 2 months ago. And then yesterday I got out and played on my birthday. Shout out Whirlwind Golf Club, great partners of ours that we get out there and play a lot. And on the 8th hole, or the 7th hole, I almost dunked it. It hit the flagstick on the par 3.
Does he know that? Does Trenton know?
He knew that. That's why he's asking, because I sent him the video, and he's like asking about the hole-in-one. I didn't hit a hole-in-one. He hit a hole-in-one about a couple months ago, which is crazy. And the one time I don't golf with him, he hits a hole-in-one. But yesterday I ended up birdieing the hole, so I'll take that.
Your time is coming.
Yes, exactly. I hope it comes.
That's what I say about my game, too, all the time. My time's coming on that. I don't know if it actually ever is, but that's awesome. Yeah, he was very quick to point out 116 yards. He was very pumped up about it, playing with your grandpa, too, I believe.
Yep.
Pretty special. Our time's coming. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, we're up next. Up next.
Exactly. Season over now with football, like we said, and I can only imagine, you put your your heart into that really the entire year. Now a chance to decompress. What has the last week or so been like, just knowing it's over?
Yeah, it's been a little bit bittersweet. You know it's always coming. It's inevitable that your time playing the game comes to an end at some point. And so to have an idea of what I'm doing with this next chapter and finishing my master's degree, I'm getting married at the end of the month. So there's a lot of milestones that I'm still completing after football being done. And so hanging it up for the last time after the bowl game, that was a special moment just to look back on the past 5 seasons that I've had and, the moments I've shared with a lot of great teammates, my brother, and, have my family there in El Paso just to soak it all in for one last time was super special.
Yeah, not many people get to do it alongside their brother, and obviously just the family dynamic that you have. But you mentioned some of those big accomplishments you're getting ready to tick off. Let's talk about the wedding. You're getting married to a former Sun Devil softball player in Yanni Acuna coming up on the 24th of January.
Yep.
So it's right around the corner, man. Congratulations first off. And
Thank you.
I guess what's that process been like, wedding planning, getting ready for all that, while also playing college football and being a part of a program?
It's a lot like the college athletic dynamic of it's a team effort. And so it's not all one individual taking on all the tasks and things we need to get done. And so having someone like Yanni be my fiance and someone that I can lean on for support, she's been nothing but great. And her family and my family working together as a team to, accomplish a common goal, which at the end of the day, that's all these teams are trying to do is accomplish a common goal. And it's been really special to put something together like this wedding and to get all the family into town, get everybody together for one special night. I've been looking forward to it since, I proposed to her last January. And so now to finally have this opportunity is really cool.
It's really special. I got to ask, will there be more nerves on wedding day? Do you anticipate more nerves on wedding day or when you're running on the field out of the tunnel?
I like to say I'm not going to get nervous on the wedding day, but I think I'd be a fool to say that because I'm going to get hit with the rush. And that's something that'll definitely hit me. I just kind of put it off for now, but I know it's going to be a factor for sure.
I feel like those are famous. I'm not married, but famous last words are like, I'm not going to get nervous. I think everyone kind of does.
I think so too.
Maybe you won't. Maybe you'll be ice cold. Who knows? This guy.
I'll let my emotions show. I think that's a night that's worth it for sure.
As you should. And then you mentioned your master's degree, and obviously that is such an important part of every student athlete's journey. First word in that, of course, student. 4.0 GPA, mastered in industrial engineering. Obviously, that is not an easy major to go into, or master's degree, I should say. So your goals now after football, you're now off the field, you're into the workforce. What are some of those things you're trying to tick off?
So I'm actually currently running a tournament series in the spring. So Battle Sports is a big brand. They're prominent in the youth sports scene. They do 7-on-7. They do youth tackle football, and now they decided to get into flag football. So I'm the national tournament director for them this spring, which really is just started off as a conversation because we're really close with the CEO and the owner of the company, and they see how fast flag football is growing with the Olympics sanctioning it. You see a lot of college teams getting built now, and so they want to tap into that industry, and they leaned on us. I took the offer to run that series for them. So I look at it as a side project because the last 3 summers I've had an internship with an engineering firm, SpecterWorks, that I'm looking to start that job in the fall. So I'll be full-time as an engineer, and then for the time being while I finish my master's, without having football on my schedule, it opened up some time to run this tournament on the side.
That's special, man. And obviously the community aspects is something that both you and your brother care a lot about. Some of the things you guys have done over the course of the past several years while you've been involved in this program have been really, really special. Just continuing on with those now after your playing days, what about these community events really get you fired up to keep doing them?
I think when you're able to connect with the fans and the faces behind, on Instagram or on Twitter, there's a lot of accounts, there's a lot of people saying things, but actually connect with the people that it means something to them. And so to shake hands, to take pictures, to sign things and get the team around, a lot of people, I don't think they overlook the fact that you don't recognize football players unless you're that 1% to 2% of the guys that you can put a face to their name. We're wearing helmets, we're in pads. People don't really get to know you on a personal level. So to hold events at Texas Roadhouse, do meet and greets, have 75 of the 100 guys out there in the dunk tank throwing water balloons at each other. It's a cool event to be able to put together for the team, and also I know the fans appreciate it because it's a real community activity.
I'm curious, not only with events like that at Texas Roadhouse, but I know you have some coaching experience, especially with 7-on-7. Your brother now being a coach for this program, so it kind of came full circle where you still got to be around your brother even when he was done playing football. How cool was that as your final year of college football, your big brother who you saw play quarterback now coaching you technically. What was that like?
It's funny because from winter workouts last January, he's the one that's technically telling me to get on the line or tell me how to finish a rep. And not that he ever abused that power, but it's his job. So I'm in no position to argue with that, and I have to look at him as like another coach. And, we still had that same brother relationship to where we chop it up and have conversations just brother to brother. But to have him as a coach was something that I always envisioned because you knew that's the route that he was on. But to actually have him be in that position this last year was cool. It was a lot of fun.
I'm curious just your outlook on this program, right? We asked Trenton about this as well, and obviously with it being the transfer portal window right now and so many different names coming in and out of this program as it is all over the country, you being someone who firsthand experienced this program, around Coach Dillingham, around all these great assistant coaches as well, like when you look at the outlook the next couple of years into the next 5 to 10 as well, how high do you think the ceiling can get for this ASU football program?
I don't know if there's a tangible roof that you can put on where Coach Dillingham sees this program going. And in the midst of all the chaos right now with the transfer portal and coaching changes, we're very lucky and special to have an individual like Coach Dillingham who's grounded. He has a staff around him who's grounded. The players are bought in. Being on the team the last 3 years with him, you can really see that in the locker room. And I know it shows and shines outside of just our circle because the fans are now bought in. And so to have something that's real and not just a year-to-year basis of 1 year it's up, 1 year it's down, and going through the roller coaster emotions, we have something that's stable and sustainable with the model that he's using. I would say fans and future athletes and people should have a lot of excitement for where we're going.
Coben Bourguet, ladies and gentlemen, big day coming up, like we said, with the wedding. What's the honeymoon plan?
We are going to go to a cabin right after the wedding for a little bit, just
Okay.
because it's an easier drive away, and then the next month we'll be going to Hawaii.
Oof.
So
Hawaii's never a bad idea.
never a bad idea. Take some time to get away, be on the island, just be on island time.
I love that. Congratulations to Sun Devil love story, Yanni Acuna, ASU softball, Coben Bourguet as well. Thanks for joining us on the show today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We'll be back with Graham Rossini to wrap up the show when we come back. Back here on Sun Devil Extra, big thank you to the Bourguet brothers, both Trenton and Coben, for joining us on the program today. We're rejoined now by ASU AD Graham Rossini. They've got to be up there now on the first family of recent Sun Devils, it seems like.
I don't know if there's other families that have
I don't
Burrito
either.
Express stickers of their time as ASU athletes. That's a pretty unique niche in the Sun Devil family. But yeah, legendary Sun Devils. Very, very, very proud.
And great guys as well. Awesome to talk to both of them. Coben's got that wedding coming up, as we said at the beginning of his
There we
interview,
go.
and that's going to be pretty exciting. I don't know if you got an invite. I didn't, but that's okay.
Shout out to Yanni.
Yes.
Another great Sun Devil.
That's right. Softball
Sun Devils,
legend.
loving Sun Devils. It's a great thing.
It's a family affair.
It is
I
a family
suppose.
affair.
We love to see it here on this program. We move on now to talking about the start of a season. We've mentioned in that first segment with Graham all the sports going on that have already been going on. Well, how about gymnastics getting going finally this weekend at DFA? They'll have a tri-meet against UC Davis and San Jose State coming up on Sunday afternoon, and what is just a loaded up athletic calendar at home this weekend for Sun Devil Athletics. But gymnastics gets back on the mat. They're ready to go, and a really fun product to watch if you haven't ever watched gymnastics in person.
Really is, and we're lucky to be in the Big 12. Another example of just a great gymnastics conference, and a lot of schools that are high end on the sport nationally that are in our conference, and so we get the benefit of kind of raising our game. Gymnastics has been arguably one of our most consistent sports over several years now. Certainly Coach Santos and his consistency in getting the NCAA tournament and advancing many of his athletes deep into the tournament as well. So they had a great Maroon and Gold showcase last weekend, kind of working out the kinks and getting ready for the season. And so jumping right in this weekend and can't wait to get them started.
Sunday at 2 o'clock, like we said, so come out for a tri-meet. A lot of fun to watch. Great to bring the family out as well to DFA for those to catch the action. We just mentioned it's such a busy athletic calendar. I got to look down to read everything at home from the point of the start of this week until the end of it. So we've got wrestling twice, women's basketball, men's tennis, hockey, and like we said, of course, gymnastics. So a shout out to all the people that make those events go on. There's so many different people behind the scenes that you might not see, the fans in the stands that have to show up, that have to get the job done to put these events on, and it's a busy week for them.
Yeah, I'm just proud of our team. I mean, this time of year in general, not just this week, but over the holidays, a lot of home events going on. We had graduation that our team gets involved in, a lot of production as well. The bowl game is no simple undertaking, so we had a lot of people involved in travel and logistics and coordination and moving a lot of people into a postseason game like that. And so just really lucky to be a teammate of these incredible people that work so hard on behalf of everything we're doing for our athletes, for our coaches, for our fan base, for the university. And we're entering that time of year where I may have the numbers wrong, but I think we get to a point in March where we have 17 or 18 of our 26 sports competing. And so there's not a weekend that's going to go by between now and Memorial Day where we don't have multiple events going on at the same time. And so we're just lucky to have people that care about the Sun Devils and want to do a great job here. And that's the team that makes this whole engine go.
No doubt about it. And speaking of which, we just mentioned gymnastics getting going. Men's and women's tennis also underway. Men's tennis will be at home against Idaho Sunday. Women's tennis on the road in a tournament in Tennessee. So that'll be going on. And then wrestling as well. Last thing to note on the athletic calendar for the weekend, wrestling Friday against West Virginia at 6:30. They had a meet yesterday at home on Tuesday. Keep saying yesterday. It's not a live show, I'm sorry. Recording here on Wednesday, had a meet on Tuesday. We'll also see West Virginia in Big 12 wrestling. On now to our most popular segment of the show, potentially. I don't know. We've been doing it since show 1, Graham. Sun Devil for Life of the Week. And okay. I know you've got a special one this week.
I got 2.
You got 2?
I got 2.
All right. Starting at 26 hot.
So Lou Dort was at our basketball game last weekend. It was great to see Lou fresh off an NBA championship with Oklahoma City. They were in town playing the Suns, so it was great that he carved out his Saturday to be with us. It was neat to see him in the arena, just engaging with our fans, with our coaching staff, and always great to have Lou back around us. So that was a treat. And then we talked about the team and the department that makes this whole thing go. We're celebrating a teammate of ours, Karen Ostrom, who's retiring after an incredible career in our ticket office, 25 plus years here with us. Ostrom family is legendary at ASU. Lonnie Ostrom was a fixture in the ASU Foundation. Karen's daughter Amy is a highly ranked official at W.P. Carey School of Business. And so I know the Ostroms are near and dear to ASU at many levels, but we've been lucky to work with Karen for many years here. I go back to my time in baseball operations, and she's somebody that I would lean on for last-minute ticket request or player will call that we needed to do. And so we're going to miss her around the building every day, but so grateful for her contributions to Sun Devil Athletics over many years, and we know she'll still be plugged in and tuned into what we're doing.
How many years was that career?
I think it's over 25.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty incredible.
Hats off to Karen.
Hats off.
Unbelievable
Yes.
career. Well done, and enjoy retirement as well. I think that's maybe the biggest thing we should be saying.
Absolutely. And thank you. Most importantly, thank you for everything you've done for the Sun Devils.
Awesome stuff, and a great two-step there of Sun Devil for Life of the Week to get things going. A fun show to start off 2026 as well. And a big thank you again to the Bourguet brothers for joining us. He's Graham. I'm Braden. Enjoy your very busy week.
We're first name guys now?
He's Graham Rossini. I'm Braden Bell. Enjoy your very busy week of 2026 Arizona State Athletics getting going in January, and we'll talk to you next week.